Hello, good evening. We are back reading Swami and Friends by R.K. Narayan. And today we do chapter 14. The chapter is titled Granny Shows Her Ignorance. Work was rather heavy in the board high school. The amount of homework given at the Albert Mission was nothing compared to the heap given at the board. Every teacher thought that this was the only subject that the boys had to study. 6 sums in arithmetic, 4 pages of handwriting copy, dictionary meanings of scores of tough words, 2 maps, and 5 stanzas in Tamil poetry were the average homework every day. Swaminathan sometimes wished that he had not left his old school. The teachers here were ruthless beings, not to speak of the drill 3 evenings a week. There were scout classes, compulsory games, etc. after the regular hours every day. And missing a single class meant half a dozen cane cuts on the following day. The wizened, spectacled man was a repulsive creature. With his screeching voice, the head of the Albert Mission had a majestic air about him in spite of all his defects. All this rigor, the sun is coming too much here. All this rigor and discipline resulted in a life with little scope for leisure. Swaminathan got up pretty early, rushed through all his homework, and rose just in time to finish the meal and reach the school as the first bell rang. Every day, as he passed the cloth shop at the end of the market road, the first bell reached his ears, and just as he panted into the class, the second bell would go off. The bell lacked the rich note of the Albert Mission gong. There was something mean and nasal about it, but he soon got accustomed to it. Except for an hour in the afternoon, he had to be glued to his seat, right on till 4:30 in the evening. He had lost the last bench habit. It might be because he no longer had money's company in the classroom. He sat in the second row, and no dawdling, easygoing nonsense was tolerated there. You sat right under the teacher's nose. When the 4:30 bell rang, Swaminathan slipped his pencil into his pocket and stretched his cramped, aching fingers. The 4:30 bell held no special thrill. You could not just dash out of the class with a howl of joy. You had to go to the drill ground and stand in a solemn line. And for 3/4 of an hour, the drill master treated you as if you were his dog. He drove you to march left and right, stand attention, and swing arms or climb the horizontal or parallel bars, whether you liked it or not, whether you knew the thing or not. For aught the drill master cared, you might lose your balance on the horizontal bars and crack your skull. At the end of this, you ran home to drink coffee, throw down the books, and rush off to the cricket field, which was a long way off. You covered the distance half running, half walking, moved by the vision of a dun field sparsely covered with scorched grass, lit into a blaze by the slant rays of the evening sun, enveloped in a flimsy cloud of dust, alive with the shouts of players stamping about. What music there was in the thud of the bat hitting the ball. Just as you took the turn leading to Lolly Extension, you looked at the sun, which stood poised like a red-hot coin on the horizon. You hoped it would not sink. But by the time you arrived at the field, the sun went down, leaving only a splash of color and the light in the sky. The shadows already crept out, and one or two municipal lanterns twinkled here and there. You still hoped you would be in time for a good game, but from about half a furlong away, you saw the team squatting carelessly around the field. Somebody was wielding the bat rather languidly, bowled and fielded by a handful who were equally languid. The languor that comes at the end of a strenuous evening in the sun. In addition to the misery of disappointment, you found Rajam a bit sore. He never understood the difficulties of a man. Oh, Swami, why are you late again? Wretched drill class. Oh, damn your drill classes and scout classes. Why don't you come early? What can I do, Rajam? I can't help it. Well, I don't care. You're always ready with excuses. Since new bats, balls, and things arrived, you have hardly played 4 times. Others being too tired to play, eventually you persuaded the youngest member of the team, a promising, obedient boy of the 5th standard, who was admitted to the cringed and was admitted because he cringed and begged Rajam perseveringly to bowl while you batted. And when you tired of it, you asked him to hold the bat and started bowling since you were the tate of the team. The youngster was rather nervous, and again you took up the batting and then bowling and so on. It went on till it became difficult to find the ball in the semi-darkness, and the picker ran after small dark objects on the ground instead of after the ball. At this stage, a rumor started that the ball was lost and caused quite a stir. The figures of squatting and reposing got busy. The figures squatting and reposing got busy, and the ball was retrieved. After this, the captain passed an order forbidding further play, and the stumps were drawn for the day. And soon all the players melted in the darkness. You stayed behind with Rajam and Mani, perched upon Rajam's compound wall, and discussed the day's game and the players, noting the improvement, stagnation, or degeneration of each player, till it became quite dark, and a peon came to inform Rajam that his tutor had come. One evening, returning from the cricket field, after parting from Mani at the Grove Street Junction, Swaminathan's conscience began to trouble him. A slight incident had happened during the early evening when he had gone home from the school to throw down the books and start for the cricket field. He had just thrown down the books and was running towards the kitchen when Granny cried, "Swami, Swami, oh boy, come here." No, he said as usual and was in a moment out of her sight, in the kitchen, violently sucking coffee out of a tumbler. He could still hear her shaky, querulous voice calling him. There was something appealing in that weak voice, and he had a fit of pity for her sitting and calling people who paid no heed for her. As soon as he drank the coffee, he went to her and asked, "What do you want?" She looked up and asked him to sit down. At that, he lost his temper, and all the tenderness he had for her a moment back left. He raved, "If you are going to say what you have to say as quickly as possible. If not, don't think I am a silly fool to." She said, "I shall give you 6 paise. You can take 3 paise and bring me a lemon for 3 paise." She had wanted to open this question slowly and diplomatically because she knew what to expect from her grandson. And when she asked him to sit down, she did it as the first diplomatic move. Without condescending to say yes or no, Swaminathan held out his hand for the coins and took them. Granny said, "You must come before I count 10. This imposition of a time limit irritated him. He threw down the coins and said, "If you want it so urgently, you had better go and get it yourself." It was nearing 5:30 and he wanted to be in the field before sunset. He stood frowning at her as if giving her the choice of his getting the lemon late when he returned from the field or not at all. She said, I have a terrible pain in the stomach. Please run out and come back, boy. He did not stay to hear more. But now all the excitement and exhilaration of the party being over, of the play being over, and having bidden last good night, he stood in the Grove and Vinayaka Mudali Street junction, as it were face to face with his soul. He thought of his grandmother and felt guilty. Probably she was writhing in pain at that very moment. It stung his heart as he remembered her pathetic, upturned face and watery eyes. He called himself a sneak, a thief, an ingrate, a hard-hearted villain. In this mood of self-reproach, he reached home. He softly sat beside Granny and kept looking at her. It was contrary to his custom. Every evening, as soon as he reached home, he would dash straight onto the kitchen and worry the cook. But now he felt that his hunger did not matter. Granny's passage had no light. It had only a shaft falling from the lamp in the hall. In the half darkness, he could not see her face clearly. She lay still. Swaminathan was seized with a horrible passing doubt whether she might be dead of stomachache. He controlled his voice and asked, Granny, how is your pain? Granny stirred, opened her eyes and said, Swami, you have come? Have you had your food? Not yet. How is your stomachache, Granny? Oh, it's all right, it's all right. It cost him all his mental powers to ask without flinching, Did you get some lemon? Did you get the lemon? He wanted to know it. He had been feeling genuinely anxious about it. Granny answered this question at once, but to Swaminathan it seemed an age, a terrible stretch of time during which anything might happen. She might say anything, scold him, disown him, swear that she would have nothing more to do with him, or say reproachfully that if only he had cared to go and purchase the lemon in time, he might have saved her, and that she was going to die in a few minutes. But she simply said, You did right in not going. Your mother had kept a dozen in the kitchen. Swaminathan was overjoyed to hear this good news. As he expressed this mood of joy in, You know what my new name is? I'm Tate. What? Tate. What is Tate? She asked innocently. Swaminathan's disappointment was twofold. She had not known anything of his new title and failed to understand its rich significance even when told. At other times he would have shouted at her, but now he was a fresh penitent and so asked her kindly, Do you mean to say that you don't know Tate? I don't know what you mean. Tate, the great cricket player, the greatest bowler on earth. I hope you know what cricket is. What is that? Granny asked. Swaminathan was aghast at this piece of illiteracy. Do you mean to say, Granny, that you don't know what cricket is? Or are you fooling me? I don't know what you mean. Don't keep on saying I don't know what you mean. I wonder what the boys and men of your days did in the evenings. I think they spent all 24 hours in doing holy things. He considered for a second. Here was his granny, stagnating in appalling ignorance, and he felt it his duty to save her. He delivered a short speech setting forth the principles, ideals, and the philosophy of the game of cricket, mentioning the radiant gods of that world. He asked her every few seconds if she understood, and she nodded her head, though she caught only 3% of what he said. He concluded the speech with a sketch of the history and the prospects of the MCC. But for Rajam Granny, he said, I don't know where we should have been. He has spent hundreds of rupees on this team, buying bats and balls is no joke. He has plenty of money in his box. Our team is known even to the government. If you like, you may write a letter to the MCC and it will be delivered to us promptly. You will see us winning all the cups in Malgudi. And in course of time, we shall show even the Madras fellows what cricket is. He added a very important note. Don't imagine all sorts of fellows can become players in our team. His father stood behind him with the baby in his arms. He asked, "What are you lecturing about, young man?" Swaminathan had not noticed his father's presence, and now, right awkwardly, as he answered, "Nothing. Oh, nothing, father." "Come on, let me know now," said the father. "It's nothing. Granny wanted to know something about cricket, and I was explaining it to her." "Indeed, I never knew mother was a sportswoman." "Mother, I hope Swami has filled you with cricket wisdom." Granny said, "Don't tease the boy. The child is so fond of me. Poor thing, he has been trying to tell me all sorts of things. You are not in the habit of explaining things to me. You are all big men." Father replied, pointing at the baby, "Just wait a few days and this little fellow will teach you all the philosophy and the politics in the world." He gently clouted the baby's fat cheeks, and the baby gurgled and chirped joyfully. "He has already started lecturing. Listen attentively, mother." Granny held up her arms for the baby, but father clung to him tight and said, "No, no. I came home early only for this fellow's sake. I can't. Come on, Swami. I think we had better sit down for food. Where is your mother?" The captain sternly disapproved Swaminathan's ways. "Swami, I must warn you. You are neglecting the game. You are not having any practice at all. It is this wretched board school work. Who asked you to go to join it? They never came and invited you. Never mind. But let me tell you, even Bradman, Tate, and everybody spends 4 to 5 hours on the pitch every day, practicing. Do you think you are greater than they? Captain, listen to me. I do my best to arrive at the field before 5. But this wretched board high school timetable is peculiar. A way out had to be found. The captain suggested, "You must see your headmaster and ask him to exempt you from extra work till the match is over." It was more easily said than done, and Somnathan said so, conjuring up before his mind the picture of the wizened face and the small dingy spectacles of his headmaster. "I am afraid to ask that monster," Swaminathan said. "He may detain me in the second form for ages." "Indeed, are you telling me that you are in such terror of your headmaster? Suppose I see him?" "Oh, please don't, Captain, I beg you. You don't know what a vicious being he is. He may not treat you well. Even if he behaves well before you, he is sure to kill me when you are gone." "What is the matter with you, Swami? Your head is full of nonsense. How are we to go on? It is 2 months since we started the team, and you have not played even for 10 days. Mani, who had stretched himself on the compound wall, now broke in. "Let us see what your headmaster can do. Let him say yes or no. If he kills you, I will pulp him. My clubs have had no work for a long time." There was no stopping Rajam. The next day he insisted that he would see the headmaster at the school. He would not mind losing a couple of periods of his own class. Mani offered to go with him, but was advised to mind his own business. Next morning at 9:30, Swaminathan spent 5 minutes rubbing his eyes red and then complained of a headache. His father felt his temples and said he would be all right if he dashed a little cold water on his forehead. "Yes, father," Swaminathan said and went out. He stood outside the father's room and decided that if cold water was a cure for headache, he would avoid it, since he was praying for that malady just then. Rajam was coming to see the headmaster, and it would be unwise to go to the school that morning. He went in and asked, "Father, did you say cold water?" "Yes." "But don't you think it will give me pneumonia or something? I'm also feeling feverish." Father felt his pulse and said, "Now run to school and you will be all right." It was easier to squeeze milk out of a stone than to get permission from father to keep away from school. He whispered into his granny's ear, "Granny, even if I die, I'm sure father will insist on sending my corpse to the school." Granny protested vehemently against this sentiment. "Granny, a terrible fever is raging within me, and my head is splitting with headache. But yet, I must not keep away from the school." Granny said, "Don't go to school." She then called mother and said, "This child has fever. Why should he go to school?" "Has he?" Mother asked anxiously and fussed over him. She felt his body and said that he certainly had a temperature. Swaminathan said pathetically, "Give me milk or something. Mother, it is getting late for school." Mother vetoed this virtuous proposal. Swaminathan faintly said, "But father may not like it." She asked him to lie down on a bed and hurried along to father's room. She stepped into the room with her declaration, "Swami has fever and he can't go to school." Father said, "Did you take his temperature?" "Not yet. It doesn't matter if he misses the school for a day." "Anyway, take his temperature," he said. He feared then that his wife might detect the sarcasm in his suggestion and added as a palliative that we may know whether a doctor is necessary. A thermometer was struck out of Swaminathan's mouth for half a minute and indicated normal. Mother looked at it and thrust it back into his mouth. It again showed normal. She took it to father and he said, "Well, it is normal." Itching to add, "I knew it." Mother insisted, "Something has gone wrong with the thermometer. The boy has fever. There is no better thermometer than my hand. I can swear that he has 100.2. "Quite likely," father said. And Swaminathan, when he ought to have been at school, was lying peacefully with closed eyes on his bed. He heard a footstep near his bed and opened his eyes. Father stood over him and said in an undertone, "You are a lucky fellow. What a lot of champions you have become in this house when you don't want to go to school." Somna, "What a lot of champions you have in this house when you don't want to go to school." Swaminathan felt that this was a sudden and unprovoked attack from behind. He shut his eyes and turned towards the wall with a feeble groan. But by the afternoon, he was already bedsore. He dreaded the prospect of staying in bed through the evening. Moreover, Rajam would have already come to the school in the morning and gone. He went to his mother and informed her that he was starting for the school. There was a violent protest at once. She felt him all over and said that he was certainly better but in no condition to go to school. Somnathan said, "But I'm feeling fit by now." "Don't get fussy, Amma." On the way to the school, he met Rajam and Mani. Mani had his club under his arm. Somnathan feared that these two had done something serious. Rajam said, "You are a fine fellow. Where were you this morning?" "Did you see the headmaster, Rajam?" "Not yet. I found that you had not come and did not see him. I want you to be with me when I see him. After all, it is your business." When Swaminathan emerged from the emotional chaos which followed Rajam's words, he asked, "What is Mani doing here?" "I don't know," Rajam said. "I found him outside your school with his club when he ought to have been in his class." "Mani, what is about your class?" "Oh, it's all right," Mani replied. "I didn't attend it today." "And why your club?" "Oh, I simply brought it along." Rajam asked, Weren't you told yesterday to attend your class and mind your business? I don't remember. You asked me to mind my business only when I offered to accompany you. I'm not accompanying you. I just came this way and you have also come this way. This is a public road. Money just was lost on them. Their minds were too busy with plans for the impending interview. Don't worry, young man, Mani said. I shall see you through your troubles. I'll walk to the headmaster if you like. I'll talk to the headmaster if you like. If you step into his room, he will call the police, Swaminathan said. When they reached the school, Mani was asked to go away or at worst wait in the road. Rajam went in and Swaminathan was compelled to accompany him to the headmaster's room. The headmaster was sleeping with his head between his hands and his elbows resting on the table. It was a small, stuffy room with only one window opening on the weather-beaten side wall of a shop. It was cluttered with dust-laden rolls of maps, globes, and geometrical squares. The headmaster's white cane lay on the table across two ink bottles and some pads. The sun came in. A hot, dusty beam fell on the headmaster's nose and the table. He was gently snoring. This was a possibility that Rajam had not thought of. What shall we do? Swaminathan asked in a rasping whisper. Wait, Rajam ordered. They waited for 10 minutes and then began to make gentle noises with their feet. The headmaster opened his eyes and, without taking his head from his hands, kept staring at them vacantly without showing any sign of recognition. He rubbed his eyes, raised his eyebrows 3 times, yawned, and then asked in a voice thick with sleep, Have you fellows no class? He fumbled for his spectacles and put them on. Now the picture was complete. Wizened face and dingy spectacles calculated to strike terror into the hearts of Swaminathan. He asked again, To what class do you fellows belong? Have you no class? I don't belong to your school, Rajam said defiantly. And then, which heaven do you drop from? Rajam said, I am the captain of the MCC and have come to see you on business. What is that business? This is my friend W.S. Swaminathan of 2nd C studying in your school. I am honored to meet you, said the headmaster, turning to Swaminathan. Rajam felt at that moment that he had found out where the board high school got its reputation from. I am the captain of the MCC, equally honored, said the headmaster. He is in my team. He is a good bowler. Are you? Said the headmaster, turning to Swaminathan. May I come to the point? Rajam asked. Do, said the headmaster. For heaven's sake, do. It is this, that he is a good bowler and he needs some practice. He can't come to field early enough because he is kept in the school every day after 4:30. What do you want me to do? Sir, can't you permit him to go home after 4:30? The headmaster sank back into his chair and remained silent. Rajam asked again, What do you say, sir? Won't you do it? Are you headmaster of the school or am I? Of course, you are the headmaster, sir. In Albert Mission, they don't keep us a minute longer after 4:30. And we are exempted from drill if we play games. Here, I am not prepared to listen to your rhapsodies on that pariah school. Get out. Mani, who had been waiting outside, finding his friends gone too long and having his own fears, now came into the headmaster's room. Who is this? Asked the headmaster, looking at Mani sourly. What do you want? Nothing, Mani replied and quietly stood in a corner. I can't understand why every fellow who finds nothing to do comes and stands in my room. The headmaster said. I am the police superintendent's son, Rajam said abruptly. He said so. Find out from your father what he was doing on the day A gang of little rascals came in and smashed these windows. Who? What is this thing that fellow has in his hand? My wooden club, Mani answered. Rajam added, he breaks skulls with it. Come out, Mani, come on, Swaminathan, there's nothing doing with this madcap. And they went out. That's it. Silly boys. Thank you. Bye.